Wow, this is a lot scarier than going up in Attica. But so looking back, I wonder what my life would have been like had I pursued my dreams of becoming a lawyer or a baseball player. I always had good grades and a mean curveball. I was taught to say please, thank you, to wear greasy cowlicks and suits to church. I mean, I lived in a house full of love, if not anything else. Somehow, my father and mother managed to put food before us and a roof over our heads. My father was an old school Rican, a jibarito from Ponce, Puerto Rico. And yes, he fit every Puerto Rican stereotype. He wore the guayaberas. He even had the pointy shoes that he could kill a roach in the corner with. Um, he loved to dance. He met my mother in a salsa club. And I smoked bud with my pops for the first time one night. And he told me, how he got here and, things about his life. I came up during the 80s. I saw rock steady battles in front of my building. I felt the pinch of Reaganomics in my empty stomach and witnessed a succession of funerals of family members to drugs, disease. My favorite Titi Ija died from what at the time was being called the motro, the monster. She got it from her husband, Georgie, who got it from sharing needles with some junkies at St. Anne's. They were dropping like flies then. I remember snatching Lee patches, taking them to Jew Man's for a free pair of jeans, playing hooky and going to the park and smoking trade bags from Garden, playing ninja in botanical gardens. I remember being called a spick and getting jumped by a bunch of greaseballs from Little Italy. The police were always at our apartment, so were the social workers. I remember coming home from school and catching my father nodding on the living room couch with a syringe still stuck in his arm, my mother nursing a bloody lip in the kitchen. At 15, I started to hustle. Some older cat blessed me with a pack. He said, get this money. I grew up in junkyards and abandoned buildings. I was a latchkey kid, an NYC kid. I jumped rooftops, spray-painted trains. I was always skinny, always hungry. My education came early. I bought a pair of Jordans and 2 car Canan pants. Why not sell drugs? I quit school. Feeding fiends, drugs, became my job. I made more in a week than my mother made working in a Salvation Army thrift store, her first job in America. I remember she found my gun and my drugs, and she threw me out the house. For 3 years I did this. At 18, I committed my first robbery. It went bad. When the police arrived, there was a dead cab driver and a trembling teenager holding a gun with bloodied hands. They charged me with murder in the second degree. I spent 24 months on Rikers Island. Finally, I copped out to manslaughter, 8 1/3 to 25. The judge said he would take the best years out of my life. Then there was the bus ride up north, the tough call of correction officers letting you know you're not in Kansas anymore, the strip search to prove it. There's the delousing shower and a haircut, the issuing of green uniforms, and finally a presentation of your new identity, 95A 5527, a number that has the year you entered the state prison, the facility you was processing, and the total number for that year. It's difficult to admit that through imprisonment, the world opened up to me. Prison is a place of punishment. It's a terrifying place. But oddly, when surrounded by despair in the most extreme and desolate of situations, man's humanity emerges. Except for the love, prison has seemed like an extension of where I came from. Sometimes I couldn't tell the difference between the two. They had the same rules, the same codes, and the same enemy. In a way, I was in prison long before I committed a crime. I did not really understand how or why I felt this way until I began using solitary moments in my cell to read. And I'm not talking about any old books. I'm talking about the classics of prison literature, books that give you some sense of identity and purpose. I'm talking about Soledad Brother, Che Guevara, Franz Fanon, Albizu Campo, Malcolm X. It just goes on and on. These books open up a new way of looking at my situation, my neighborhood, my country. The kids from my block were not evil or sick. They were survivors, the wretched of the earth. They shared a legacy of bearing the mark of Cain, of being defeated and misled. Over 2 million people are incarcerated in the United States, and more than half of them are people of color. More are expected to go to prison than to college. Forget a bar mitzvah. Prison is our rite of passage, our coming of age. That's where we become men. 5 years into my bid, I lost my pops. I lost my moms not much later after that. What would I have left? What would I have when I left this rite of passage? Who would my family be? Where is home now? For many years, these were questions in my head. Viktor Frankl, in talking about the survival of the self in the concentration camps, insisted that, although held in the vicious grip of brutal circumstances, a human being still has one great residual power: to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Learning wasn't enough. I realized that survival depended in large part on understanding that I couldn't do it by myself. Family may be someone of blood, but that's not the only criteria. Family is also those who want to see you succeed, who are there for you when shit hits the fan. My wife's abuelita had a saying. She used to tell me all the time, show me who you walk with, and I'll tell you who you are. I've been out of prison for 3 years, and I don't recognize my family. I came home to a new world. But in that short span, I have been able to accomplish things which statistics state I am not supposed to accomplish. I have a bachelor's degree from Bard College. I've worked as a housing advocate on behalf of the homeless. I am a playwright at the Public Theater. I have my own apartment. I have a car. And unfortunately, yes, I pay taxes. You know, I struggle with automated stuff. The technology, of course. You know, I quickly learned the MetroCard thing, the cell phone, you know, learning how to text. The funniest thing was the bathroom, the smart toilets. I never, you know. I remember using the bathroom and looking for the button and I couldn't see it. I walked away and it flushed. So I was like, oh, okay. So this is cute. And yeah, it's truly amazing. I mean, but the truly amazing part for me is that I'm free and I'm writing plays, right? Which has allowed me to change my identity. I can state proudly that today I am a playwright. I am a man. I am free. A transformed life carries all sorts of messages. It can be cautionary or a message of hope. I don't really know what mine says. How can I tell? I did do 17 years. I made it out without any visible scars, and I thank God for that. But time can be the wrong measure. Inside, I still carry a burden that's heavier than these walls. It seems all I know is prison, and that can make one angry and bitter. There's a lot I have never experienced, lost moments I never shared with my mother or my father. To be honest, I don't know what works or what is really needed to endure. All I know is that I have to. Inside prison, I've met people who I consider family. I mean, brothers. A few are here tonight. And in a place where bars and concrete weigh heavily on one's daily existence, the only people we really could rely on were each other. You know, I've acquired a new sense of family, seeing how we do everything together. You know, I get in trouble, these are the people that I call. I lost all my loved ones, or all I have is the people that I was inside with, and I trust them and they trust me. You know, and that's how I was brought up. That's my past. You know, my family on the inside and on the outside. That's what they taught me to survive. Thank you.